Hey everybody, as you can tell by the title of this video, it is called All About Dreadlocks and Locs. Now let's get started. So what are locks? Now there are so many different types of locks. There's scissor locks, dreadlocks, there's freeform. Now if you don't know what freeform locks are, we're about to get into it. And I'll show you a picture of them in a minute. So freeform locks are like Jay-Z, The Weeknd, Lil Wayne, J. Cole. Those are freeform locks. Now, freeform locks are when you don't put anything in your hair and you just let your hair grow by itself. To whatever length it grows by itself, let it do what it do. You don't go to nobody, you don't get no products to fix your hair and make it better. So, with that being said, freeform locks, they let the rain and stuff like that go in your hair. Yes, water, your hair needs moisture. So yes, that water will definitely help your hair grow. And it will help the process. But rainwater is dirty water. So why would you want to put dirt in your hair? It's like your body. You got to go to your primary care doctor. You got to go to your OBGYN. You got to go every year, every couple of months to make sure you're healthy. Why wouldn't you want to do that for your hair? So it's like Lil Wayne's locks. Your locks start to turn a certain color when they're not healthy and they start to die off. Now, everybody's locks are different, so not everybody's will turn that type of color, but most of them do. And when they start to turn that type of color, that's when you see different sizes of locks that they have in their hair, and that's because their locks start to fall off. Now, when your locks start to fall off, yes, we could reattach them, but they're falling off because your hair is starting to die. So let's get to it. This is a picture of freeform locks. Hope you guys can see freeform locks. Now, not all freeform locks look like that, but a lot of them do. So, when you have locks, I'm not going to call them dreadlocks because a lot of people don't like it when people call locks dreadlocks. So I'm going to say locks. Now, when you have locks, yes, there are a lot of hairdressers, and I'm going to say hairdressers who know how to do locks, but they're not licensed in locks. They know how to do locks, and they know how to do two-strand twists, box braids. They know how to do cornrows. They know how to do crochet, sewing, because they want that fast. You hear what I'm saying? That fast, easy money. That's why they know how to do multiple hairstyles. But get yourself a loctician. A loctician is different from a hairdresser. A hairdresser knows how to do every different style hair. A loctician only does locks. They don't do nothing else but locks. So most locticians, giving you the FYI, most locticians, they make their own products. So then you can go to them and you can buy their products, or they give it to you for free. But they know what products to put in your hair. Depending on your type of hair, they know what products to put in your hair to help you in your lock process and help your locks grow. Now, if they don't make their own products, they know what stores and what things for you to use on your locks. So when I tell people who are just starting out with having locks, talk to your loctician. All the questions you have are not bad questions, are not crazy questions, are not questions like, why would I ask that? That's a stupid question. No, there are no stupid questions on the first 2 years of you having locks. Trust me. I have locks, so I know. When you go to your loctician, ask him or her all the beautiful questions you got. And they'll answer it because they know they're licensed on it. If you go to a hairdresser who does your locks, they're not going to be able to answer all the questions you have about locks because they don't know. Most of them, all they did was learn how to do locks to get that easy money. They didn't practice locks. They didn't go to school and get all the information about locks. You see what I'm saying? So it's better to go to a loctician. Now, all locticians, they should be able to, they'll tell you like what bonnets and stuff for you to wear. Now, depending on where you go for your locks, for me, it cost me $80 for a wash, dry, and retwist. I go and get my locks retwisted the beginning of each month. Now, for me, I only get mine done once in the beginning of each month with a protective hairstyle. So that's good for me, but there are some people who don't get their locks retwisted for like 2-3 months on end, and that's because if you look at the top right here, you can see right here. Let me get a lock to show y'all. Right here is all new growth. It is all new growth. So they like to let their new growth grow a little longer so that it helps your locks. So when you get your locks retwisted, your hair is longer. Now, for me, I'd rather just get it done once in the beginning of each month. It just saves me a lot of time, and I ain't got to worry, and I just know my process. Now, when you have locks, yes, you can get a satin pillowcase. Yes, you can get a satin bonnet. Me, I do not go to bed without a satin bonnet on. What is a satin bonnet versus a satin pillowcase? And I'm saying satin, if emphasis on satin, is because you can't have regular pillowcase. I mean, you can't have a regular, pillowcase or a regular bonnet. Now, if you got a satin bonnet, you can have you don't need a satin pillowcase, and vice versa. But if you have a regular bonnet, it's going to attract a lot of lint. And your locks attract a lot of dirt and debris and lint and stuff. So if you have a regular bonnet, it's not really going to protect your hair, especially if you just got it done. Now, if you have a satin bonnet, it protects your hair and it helps it to grow, and it keeps all that dirt and stuff out of your hair, and you'll see less lint. Because when you see people who have locks and they have those small little fuzzy things in their locks, that's lint. That's lint balls. And it's not attractive. It don't look good. Get it taken out. So with that being said, for me, so every Monday of each week and every Friday of each week, I put product in my hair. After I put product in my hair, it will definitely be after I take my shower in the morning. I will definitely put the product in my hair. And then after I put the product in my hair, I don't put my hair back in a ponytail or in my bonnet. Now, I just let it breathe. After I put the product in for 2, 3, 4 hours, I let my hair breathe. I walk around the house, I go do what I got to do during the day, and I let it breathe. If I'm not working, then I'll just put my bonnet back on after the 2, 3, 4 hours, and that's it. But I do that because your hair cannot be in a ponytail or protective hairstyle every day of your life. It needs to be out of a protective hairstyle. It needs to be out of your bonnet. It needs to be out of a ponytail so your hair has time to breathe. So, the products I use are different from everybody's hair. And the products you use for your locks may be different from the products I use, because the products you use may not work for me, for my locks, and vice versa, or they may work for me. But sometimes the products other people use for their locks don't work for other people. So if these products that I'm going to show you that I use work for you and you use them, put them in the comments down below. Let me know. But if they don't, just find what is good for you. But this is what's good for me. And don't be a guinea pig when you first start out with locks. Don't go to the store and buy a whole bunch of lock products and start putting it in your hair for your hair to see if it works, because you're going to damage your hair that way. Make sure before you buy a bunch of lock products and put it in your hair, you ask your loctician, because they can give you some advice of what products to use. And sometimes your loctician may be allergic to certain lock products because they may have certain things like sulfur inside of it that may make them allergic. So it depends on, what products you put in your hair, because that sometimes will depend on what products your hairdresser will put in your hair, so that it can combine together to make your hair even better. Now, and I'm going to show you, 1 second. This is the products I use for my hair. This is called Lucky Length. Lucky Length is what it is called. And so, Lucky Length, okay? Lucky Length, let me tell you what is inside of it. It's organic. It is organic, guys and girls. It is organic. Grass-fed oil, extra virgin olive oil, virgin coconut oil, Indian hemp, powder, whole cloves, and an Indian oil is inside of it. And when I tell you this product works, it works. You put this product on your edges and you put it like in between your scalp. It really does help and make your hair grow. Now, the next product I use is Olive Miracle Anti-Breakage Formula. Olive and tea tree oil growth oil treatment. Moistures scalp, helps stop breakage, and helps with dryness. This product you can find in your nearest CVS, Walgreens, Walmart. I'm not sure about Target, so you might want to check it out. And if you can't get it in Target, let me know in the comments down below, because it might be cheaper. So, this is the second product I use. And this is the third product I use. I use Tropical Roots for all hair types, stimulating growth oil with pineapple and guava. Adds shine and strengthens hair. Now this product, BB, is what it's called. They have a lock oil that my loctician uses on my hair. And it comes in a round case, a round container, and it is a clear gel that she uses to do my retwist. And this is a spray. The other two were oils. This is a spray. Those are the products I use, and all of those products, I just put like 2-3 dabs in my hand, and I just rub my hands together, and I just really get in there and oil my scalp. Those are the products I use. If you want to try them out, go right ahead, but check with your loctician first if these products are good for your type of hair, because they really do help me with my type of hair. Some people think, and what I'm about to say is crazy because I can't even fathom to think, why do people think this? Some people think that if they get locks and their hair is already long, that their hair is going to lock automatically and they're not going to have the same locking process as everybody else. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you get, attachment locks that are already locks attached to your hair, and all they're locking is a little portion of your hair because you're getting locks attachment. It don't matter if you get your hair already pre-locked, your real hair naturally already pre-locked, so then you don't have to wait. No. It doesn't matter what type of locks you have. Everybody is going to go through the same locking process. Let me say it again. Everybody is going to go through the same locking process. I'm going to say it one more time. the same locking process. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to get that ugly stage. And nobody likes that ugly stage. I'm pretty sure in a couple of my, YouTube videos, you've seen me and I said I had locks, but it looked like 2-strand twists coming out. Yep, they were locks. Your hair needs time to lock. Your hair is not going to automatically look at my locks. Okay. I have locks, and my locks are purple. Your locks are not going to automatically look like my locks and automatically turn into locks like that. They're not. You're going to have a few stages to where your hair don't look like locks. And when you go back to your loctician, he or she has to relock your hair because it didn't lock when you got it done the last time. That's because your hair needs its time. Because your hair all your life has been trained to be a certain way. That now it has to get trained not to be the way that it was all your life, but to be trained to be locks. And if you don't know what locks are basically a strand full of knots. Locks are basically a strand full of locks. That's all it is. It's a strand full of locks. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. It's a strand full of knots. It's a strand full of knots. All this is right here is a strand full of locks. That's all it is. That's why it's easy for some people to just comb it out, because all it is locks. It's basically your hair just locking. All it is a strand full of knots. It's knots. 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 It's a strand full of knots. That's all locks are. And I hate when people, I'm not going to say hate, but I dislike when people think that they can just skip certain processes to locks so that they don't have to worry about the ugly stage and stuff like that. No, it don't matter what type of locks you got, honey boo boo. Everybody is going to have the same process, go through the same process. Everybody's going to go through the same locking process. Don't matter if you have sister locks, freeform. It don't matter. We're all going through the same process. And you may not like how your hair looks in the beginning, because trust me, I didn't like the ugly stage in the beginning. I was like, is it really going to lock? Like, what's going on? But when I waited and I did what my loctician told me to do, and I went to my regularly scheduled visits to get my hair done, my wash, dry, and retwist and protective hairstyle, guess what? Look at my locks now. Beautiful. Now we'll have a video on, getting your hair, dyeing your hair and stuff like that. But I won't focus on that in this video because that's a whole nother subject. And there's a lot of things I could talk about with that. So I would definitely have a video talking about that as well. But yeah, so, everybody's going to go through it. So just make sure that when you're thinking about having locks, make sure having locks is a lifelong process. It's a lifelong journey. Now, for me, am I ever going to cut my locks off? Hell no. I will never cut these beautiful locks off. Never, ever, ever, ever. I will have these locks until I die off this earth. And I mean it. I think people who have locks are very sexy. I love locks. I think locks are so beautiful. I love when I see men and women walking down the street and their locks are all the way down their back or onto the floor. I think it is beautiful. I love locks. I really do. Now, if you need more information, you can go on like I do. You can go on Facebook, you can go to Insta, Twitter, not Twitter. You can go to Insta, you can go, if you don't know what Insta is, it's Instagram. You can go to Instagram, you can go to Facebook, you can go to TikTok, and there's so many people who go live on a daily basis. There's so many people who just post pictures and videos all about locks. So you can learn from them as well. But I hope this video was very, I hope this video really, really does help you guys and give you a lot of information. Because that's what this video is for. It's for information. Now, with locks, if you don't want to have locks all your life, you don't have to have locks all your life. The myth is this, and this is a myth, meaning it's what people think, but it's not accurate. And I don't know where this myth came from, but it needs to stop. Me, a woman who has locks, I know. You don't have to cut your locks off if you don't want them anymore. You can cut, you don't, let me say it again. You don't have to cut your locks off. I'm waiting for people to listen. You don't have to cut your locks off. All you gotta do is comb them out. I mean, you comb them out, you're gonna get, some hair that comes out because that's the dead hair that's inside of your locks. But all you gotta do is comb them out and take time. It takes time and patience to just comb them out. You don't have to cut them. So I don't know where that myth came from, where you have to cut your locks. You don't need to cut your locks if you don't want them anymore. You don't. And that right there is what makes a lot of people think, let me not have locks because I don't want to have to cut my locks out if I don't want them in the next 4 or 5 years. All you got to do, this is my one lock. All you got to do is just go from here and just keep combing and combing and combing it out. And it may take a couple hours, it may take a couple days, but all you got to do is just keep combing and combing them out. No cutting is really needed. No cutting is really needed. Now, what else is there to talk about with locks? Now, I would definitely say, when you get locks, please don't think that when you get locks, your locks are going to stay in the locking process for months at a time after you get locks. No. Your locks are not meant to stay in the locking process. I mean, when I say locking process, I mean a retwist. Your hair is not supposed to stay in the retwist. When you get done getting your retwist is not going to stay for months at a time. Like, your retwist is going to come out like a week after you get your locks retwisted, or even a couple days. But for me, when you get your locks retwisted, make sure you get a protective hairstyle. Make sure your loctician puts your hair in a protective hairstyle after you get your hair retwisted, because if your locks get put in a protective hairstyle after your locks get retwisted, then now your locks will stay in that retwist for a couple weeks or even a month at a time if you keep that protective hairstyle in. So the protective hairstyle really does help with your hair being in that retwist stage for a couple of weeks. You see what I'm saying? That's why when I get my locks retwisted, I always get a protective hairstyle afterwards so that my retwist can stay in for a couple of weeks so I can have my money's worth. Now, don't think, okay, when you first start having locks, people think that all this fuzziness you see on top of my locks is my new growth. People start to think that the new growth is ugly. Child, please. When you start having locks, like me, look at that. When you start having locks and they flowing and they're gorgeous and they're beautiful, you're going to think your new growth is the bomb. It's sexy. Let me tell you, sometimes when I have my new growth, I be like, dang, it's new growth popping out, but it still looks good. There ain't nothing ugly about locks. And if somebody tells you your locks are ugly, get the fuck out of here, because they're not. Locks are beautiful. And locks bring out your skin tone. They bring out your face and make you more beautiful, even though you were beautiful before, but it makes you even more beautiful. How about that? But yeah, that's the 411 about locks. I mean, if you want me to make more videos about locks, I definitely will. My locks are dyed purple, but you can't tell my locks are purple because of the lighting or whatever. But yeah, my locks are purple, and purple is my favorite color now. A lot of people, when they get locks, they want to start out to get, like, red locks. Now, let me tell you something. I didn't get my roots, like, right here. Mm-mm. No, no. I didn't get that dyed. And let me explain to you. I didn't get it dyed because if this is my first time ever dyeing my hair in my life. I was always natural, okay? So I didn't want to dye my hair and then something happens and then I can't start over. Or I would have to cut all my hair out or get rid of all my locks because I damaged my roots and I would have to start all over. So I didn't want to get my roots colored. I wanted to get, okay, look at my finger because this is very important. I wanted to get from right here all the way down dyed purple and leave from right here all the way up my natural color, which is black. Because if something happened to my locks because of the color, I would always be able to start over. That is why I did that. Some locticians are not going to, well, they'll tell you that, but then they won't tell you that. Because a lot of locticians want to dye your whole entire head. So a lot of them won't tell you that. And for me, because it's my first time ever my first time ever dyeing my hair, I looked it up. I did my research. I went to the store and I figured what products of bleach dye that I want to use on my hair to get information about it before I went to my loctician and spoke to her. My loctician is a female, so before I went to my loctician and I spoke to her about it, I did my research because it was a new journey I was going into with dyeing my locks. I will tell you more about locks. I will tell you more about dyeing your locks in a whole nother video. But right now, this is just the 411 all about locks. Like I said, if you have any other questions that you want to know about locks, comment it down below and I will definitely answer it for you. Trust me, I do read the comments in the comment section when y'all comment. And I do respond. Now, it may take me a day or two because I do work, but I do respond. But I hope you guys all learned a lot in this video. And if you are a new person starting out with locks, welcome to the family. And yes, that's really all I have to really say about locks. I know I just gave you guys a handful, but I know I just gave you guys a handful on locks, but that's a lot of things that I believe you guys should know about locks. It's a beautiful journey and there's a lot of history about it from, back in the day. And I will definitely talk about it in another video. But this is all I wanted to share with you guys for today. And I hope you guys learned a lot. I know it was very, educating and gave you a lot of information. So I hope you learned from this video. And I hope this video really, really helped you with locks. If you want any other videos on locks, let us sister know. And I will definitely make some more because this channel is for you guys. So without further ado, bye guys.